Welcome to Toon Talk English, where you can learn English through stories. Today, we will talk about one of the most famous coffee companies in the world, Starbucks. Starbucks is not just a coffee shop. It is a brand that has changed how people drink coffee around the world. But how did Starbucks grow from a single small store to a company with thousands of locations worldwide? What made Starbucks special, and why do so many people love it? In this story, we will explore the humble beginnings of Starbucks, the vision of a man named Howard Schultz, the challenges Starbucks faced, and how it became a global coffee giant. So grab a cup of coffee or tea, sit back, relax, and let's dive into the inspiring story of Starbucks.
The story of Starbucks begins in Seattle, Washington, in the year 1971. Seattle was known for its rainy weather and love of coffee. At that time, coffee culture in America was very different from today. Most people drank cheap, instant coffee at home. There were very few places where you could sit down and enjoy a fresh, high-quality cup of coffee. Three friends shared a passion for coffee and tea. Their names were Jerry Baldwin, Zev Siegel, and Gordon Bowker. These three men wanted to start a small business that sold premium coffee beans and equipment. They were inspired by a man named Alfred Peets, the founder of Peets Coffee in California, who believed that Americans deserved better coffee. On March 30, 1971, they opened their first store. They named it Starbucks, after a character from the famous novel Moby Dick. The name was chosen because it sounded strong and classic, like an old seafaring adventure. The first Starbucks store was very different from what you see today. It was not a cafe. They didn't sell espresso drinks, lattes, or frappuccinos. Instead, they sold coffee beans, tea leaves, and coffee-making equipment. Their goal was simple: bring high-quality coffee to people who appreciate it. At the start, business was small and local. They focused on educating customers about different types of coffee. Many people didn't know the difference between regular coffee and specialty coffee. Starbucks slowly grew in popularity in Seattle. By 1980, they had 4 stores and a small but loyal customer base. Even though Starbucks was still small, something big was about to happen. A man named Howard Schultz would soon walk through their doors, and he would completely change the future of Starbucks. In 1982, Starbucks hired Howard Schultz as their director of marketing. Howard was young, ambitious, and full of ideas. He was fascinated by coffee and saw great potential in Starbucks. Howard Schultz grew up in a poor family in Brooklyn, New York. His father worked many hard jobs, but never earned much money. This experience made Howard determined to build a better life for himself and to create opportunities for others. When Howard joined Starbucks, he immediately noticed something important. While Starbucks sold great coffee beans, they didn't serve coffee drinks. He believed there was a much bigger opportunity waiting to be discovered. 1 year later, in 1983, Howard traveled to Italy for a business trip. While walking through the streets of Milan, he discovered something amazing about Italian coffee culture. In Italy, coffee shops were not just places to grab a quick drink. They were social hubs where people met friends, talked, and enjoyed life. The baristas knew the customers by name. The atmosphere was warm, lively, and full of energy. Howard was amazed. He thought, "This is what coffee should be like. Not just a drink, but an experience." He returned to the United States filled with inspiration. He wanted to bring the Italian coffeehouse experience to America. But when he shared his idea with the Starbucks founders, they were not interested. They believed Starbucks should only sell coffee beans and equipment, not serve drinks in a cafe setting. Howard didn't give up. He decided to follow his vision. In 1985, Howard opened his own coffee shop called Il Giornale. The cafe was a huge success. People loved the experience of sitting, relaxing, and enjoying freshly brewed espresso drinks. By 1987, Starbucks was at a turning point. The original founders wanted to sell the company. Howard saw this as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He worked hard to raise money from investors and eventually bought Starbucks for $3.8 million. From that moment, Howard Schultz became the CEO of Starbucks. He combined his Italian coffeehouse vision with the Starbucks brand. The new Starbucks stores were very different. They didn't just sell beans and equipment anymore. They sold espresso drinks like lattes, cappuccinos, and mochas, served in a cozy, welcoming environment. Howard's goal was not just to sell coffee, but to create a third place for people, a place that was not home and not work, but somewhere in between where people could relax and connect. This idea became the heart of Starbucks' identity. By the early 1990s, Starbucks began to grow very quickly. In 1992, Starbucks went public on the stock market, giving the company more money to expand. People everywhere were falling in love with Starbucks. It was no longer just about coffee. It was about community, comfort, and culture. Starbucks stores became popular spots to meet friends, work on laptops, or simply enjoy a moment of peace with a warm drink. The Starbucks experience was something new and exciting, and it started to spread far beyond Seattle. With its success in the U.S., Starbucks started to look beyond America. In 1996, Starbucks opened its first international store in Tokyo, Japan. The response was incredible. Japanese customers embraced the Starbucks experience with excitement. Soon after, Starbucks expanded to other countries, including China, the United Kingdom, Canada, and many more. The growth was explosive. By the early 2000s, Starbucks was opening a new store every single day somewhere in the world. Starbucks also introduced new products to keep customers excited. Frappuccino blended drinks, seasonal specials like the pumpkin spice latte, and food items like sandwiches and pastries. One key to Starbucks' global success was its ability to adapt to different cultures. For example, in Japan, Starbucks offered unique flavors like matcha green tea lattes. In China, stores were designed to be more spacious for group gatherings, since tea culture was deeply rooted there. By 2005, Starbucks had thousands of stores worldwide and had become a symbol of modern coffee culture. People didn't just go to Starbucks for caffeine. They went for comfort, free Wi-Fi, and a place to meet friends or work on laptops. Starbucks became part of everyday life for millions of people. Even though Starbucks was wildly successful, the company faced serious challenges. In 2008, during the global financial crisis, Starbucks started to struggle. Many stores were closing. Customers were cutting back on expensive coffee drinks. Some critics said Starbucks had grown too fast, and the quality of the customer experience was slipping. Howard Schultz returned as CEO to save the company. He made several bold decisions. He closed underperforming stores. He retrained baristas to improve coffee quality. He focused on making every store a welcoming, personal space again. Schultz also embraced technology. Starbucks launched its own mobile app, making it easier for customers to order and pay. Slowly, Starbucks recovered and became stronger than before. The company also focused more on ethical sourcing. They worked with coffee farmers around the world to ensure fair pay and environmentally friendly practices. This helped Starbucks build a positive image as a company that cares about people and the planet.
Today, Starbucks has over 38,000 stores worldwide, making it the largest coffee chain in the world. But Starbucks is more than just a business success story. It's a story about vision, innovation, and connection. From a small store in Seattle to a global brand, Starbucks showed that coffee can be more than a drink. It can be an experience, a way for people to connect and feel at home. Thank you for listening to the story of Starbucks. If you enjoyed this lesson, please like, comment, and subscribe to Toon Talk English. Coffee connects us, just like stories do.